And now it's time for part 3 of Professor Victor Singing Eagle's amazing English composition 1 lecture on Aristotle's communication situation graphic and the elements of persuasion. English composition 1 here at Sisseton Wahpeton College, and now it's time for your host, Professor Victor Singing Eagle. Yay! Now, last time we were chatting, we were talking about author or speaker, subject or issue, reader and listener. Talking about the elements of persuasion. The key word here being persuasion. So nobody is going to screw this up on another test, right? Whenever you see this on an exam, the first word should be persuade or to persuade if we want to be grammatically correct. We were talking about this crazy Native American Potawatomi Indian male named Victor Singing Eagle. Full name is Victor Allen Blanchard Singing Eagle. That's another long story you don't need to hear right now. I got too much mythos already going on, don't I? Mythos, remember that word? Story. Right on. So, Victor Allen Blanchard Singing Eagle was a 21-year-old Potawatomi Indian male, a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard, blah, 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 loves culture, speaks Anishinaabe. Well, after my grandmother passed away, that went my Anishinaabe. Because, when the elders pass away, you don't use the language anymore, but you still miss it. It's still in the back of my head. Every once in a while, I wake up speaking Anishinaabe, or if I'm with somebody and she's like, dude, what was that you were saying? Oh, I was speaking my native language. Never mind, we're talking too much. Talks in his sleep. Put that up there too. Whatever. We also talked about my victim. No, my listener. The listener is a 19-year-old female from Taiwan named Annie. She's studying math. She's petite, small, Taiwanese girl. She loves food, as most Chinese and Taiwanese do. Lived in the dorms across from me. A classmate at UC Santa Barbara. And we talked about that already. I'm starting to run this into the ground. Now, we've got some pretty good information up here already. I'm going to use red this time, right? Because we have to, when we do this exercise, we haven't even, let's say I was writing a letter to her. We haven't even written the letter. We haven't even given the speech. We haven't even started to persuade this girl, have we? No. Right? Okay. What is it that we have in common? Well, we're both UCSB students. Did I put that up there? Nope. Let's put it up there. UC Santa Barbara. Some stuff we have in common. Well, UC Santa Barbara. What else? Well, poor background. Yeah, I grew up poor, semi-poor. I'll put up here semi-poor. Why do I put this up here? Because we're looking at things we have in common. Remember, one of my first memories as a little child was my stomach growling and always being hungry. And I remember being hungry all the time. I was like 2 years old, maybe 1.5. And mom and dad were busy doing whatever they were doing. And my stomach started growling. We didn't have a whole lot of food in those days. And I wandered outside and wandered into other people's yards and started eating plants and all kinds of stuff. And I was like 2 years old. I don't know. And suddenly a lady came out and screamed, "Ah! He's eating the plant. And she called my parents, and they took me to the hospital, and the doctors, they were very sweet. I remember there was this one sweet nurse. She had this picture book, and she was showing me, did you eat this plant? Did you eat this plant? Did you? And for some reason, as a 2-year-old, I knew this is edible, this is not. I was eating weird grasses and clovers and things, and the doctors were amazed that I knew, okay, this is not edible and this is. And as a 2-year-old, I don't know, maybe that came from ancient Indian knowledge. Never mind, I'm talking too much mythos and not enough pathos and logos and ethos. I guess I am in some ways establishing my credibility, am I not? Because after all, I'm majoring in English and anthropology. Did I put that up there? Somewhere it's up there. I can't remember where it is. She's majoring in math. So there's some contrast as well, is there not? I'll put up here English and anthro. English. I know I wrote it before, but I can't remember where, so I'll write it again. Major. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to put this in a square or rectangle because she's math. So the stuff we have in common, I'll circle, and the stuff that contrasts, I'll put in square rectangles. How's that? Okay? We're both young. So I'll put that. She's 19, I'm 21. Sure, why not? Food. She likes to eat. And when I was young, I was skinny, and I liked to eat a lot too. So I didn't really care much for the dorm food, but you know, we didn't have much of a choice in those days. So let's put that up there too. Now, you can already feel my thesis warming up, can't ya? We got a cute Taiwanese girl who likes to eat, very busy all the time, because if you know anything about Taiwanese, they study their butts off. And here is a fun-loving Native American kid. So let's put that in a box, which means there's some contrasting here going on. She always seems so serious as she studied and studied and studied.
I don't have time. I'm studying for a math quiz, a math exam.
And here, Singing Eagle, studying in English and anthropology, this cushy, sweet major, you know. And I got to figure out some way to break through this, you see. Now, if you remember the quizzes that I've been giving you and the whatever exams and even your papers, you can see where I'm going with this by now. There is a relationship between these two. There's a relationship going on to here, and there's a relationship going on to here too. What are they? If you see this on a quiz, you better know the answer. What is my relationship to my issue? Well, I'm a Native American. It's a Pow-Wow. I want to go to the Pow-Wow. I got a friend up on the Santa Ynez Indian Reservation named Chief Chinawaway. He's my mentor, somebody I love very much. And I go to the Pow-Wow every year. And whenever I go, I get lucky. We won't talk about that right now. Let's keep it PG-13. What's my relationship to my listener? She's my intended victim. No, she's a friend. She's a classmate. She's somebody that I have targeted for an object of love. So, I've got to convince what I want to do. My purpose is to convince her, to persuade her to go with me to the Pow-Wow. Those days I drove a 1975 Chevy Vega. The car was a piece of crap. So I had something not so good, but at least I had a car. And he didn't. So how am I going to convince this girl to jump into my smoky, oil-eaten 1975 Chevy Vega, drive up a twisty mountain pass that goes way up into the mountains and go to this powwow. I have some ammunition, don't I? Yes, I do. How are we doing on time? 10 minutes. We got to stop it. We're going to do part 4. Thank you so much again. Have a good day. Talk to you later.